5. The woman, the dragon, and the prophetic parallel. Gabriel's voice thundered through the space between heaven and earth as he transitioned from the scroll's ceiling to a revelation that would link Daniel's visions with the climactic finale found in Revelation. The prophetic stream Daniel was immersed in was not isolated. It was a continuous current that would eventually converge with John's visions on Patmos. As Gabriel unfolded the next portion of divine insight, Daniel was shown symbols far greater than he could have anticipated. These were not merely forecasts of kings and conquests. These were cosmic realities, truths that would play out at the end of time, across realms both seen and unseen. Gabriel described a radiant woman clothed with the sun, standing on the moon and crowned with 12 stars. She symbolized the faithful people of God. She was pregnant with promise, ready to give birth to the Messiah. But before her stood a great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, waiting to devour the child as soon as it was born. This was no myth. This was the spiritual reality behind the Roman Empire, behind Herod's slaughter, and behind every effort Satan has made to destroy God's plan. The woman gave birth, and the child, a symbol of Christ, was caught up to God, and the woman fled into the wilderness. Daniel's visions of beasts, kingdoms, and horned powers had been fragments of this great narrative. The beast with 10 horns from Daniel 7 found its counterpart in Revelation 13. The blasphemous power that sought to change times and laws now stood revealed in its fullness. The dragon gave his authority to the beast, and the world wondered after it. But Gabriel made it clear. Though the dragon raged and the beast deceived, there would be a faithful remnant, those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. The connection between Daniel and Revelation became undeniable. Where Daniel saw a little horn making war with the saints and prevailing, Revelation revealed the global persecution of God's people during the time of the end. Where Daniel saw judgment seated and the books opened, Revelation described the same scene in vivid color, with angels, trumpets, and seals. Daniel's sealed prophecies were the foundation. Revelation's visions were the completion. Daniel, listening to Gabriel's words, felt the weight of what he was being shown. He understood that his writings were not complete in themselves. They were keys that would only unlock when placed beside the visions given to John. Together, these 2 books would form the prophetic lens through which the final generation would understand their mission and their place in God's timeline. Satan had tried to stop these visions from reaching Daniel. That's why Gabriel had been delayed. That's why Michael had to come. Because this wasn't just history, it was a war strategy. Satan knew that if God's people understood their prophetic identity, his kingdom would fall. The woman and the dragon were not symbols of ancient stories. They were signs of the final war for allegiance. And every soul on earth would have to choose, the lamb or the beast. This image would depict the woman standing firm, glowing with divine light, while the red dragon looms above, its wings outstretched and mouth open in fury. The stars above her shimmer in defiance. Beneath her feet, the wilderness awaits, a place of trial and preservation. Behind her, shadows of Daniel's beasts lurk in prophetic connection. Gabriel's voice concluded this portion with solemn clarity. These things are sealed to many, but the wise shall understand. Daniel's hands trembled not just with fear, but with responsibility. The visions were no longer about kings and timelines. They were about loyalty, worship, and survival in the great and dreadful day of the Lord.